More than 69,000 Americans died from drug overdoses last year, that according to the CDC. So tonight, one Siouxland nonprofit is working to make sure those lives aren't forgotten. The Rosecrans-Jackson Center held a Luminary Walk event sharing the journey of drug addiction. It opened with a presentation about opioid overdoses and how Narcan can reverse them. Free boxes of Narcan were available for anyone to take with them tonight. Iowa Poison Control also talked about alcohol poisoning. Then came community sharing. People talked about their personal struggles with addiction or people they know who struggle. Rosecrans leaders believe it's important to remember those lost due to addiction and provide support and healing for those that are still struggling.
People need to survive this rough patch in their life. I know somebody who has been sober off of opioids for 50 years, but he needed to survive. I have loved ones with opioid use disorders, and we need to do what we can to help with this public health threat.
The night wrapped up with a remembrance of those whose lives were lost to addiction. Now, if you or someone in your own family is struggling with drug addiction and want help, resources can be found inside this story at KTIV.com.